Everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be showing you how to plant these roses. These are Bloom of Ruth roses, which we got from a company called Harkness Limited. Harkness, we've just bought some roses from them for this particular plant. Now you can find them at roses.co.uk, fantastic company, really well produced roses here, and their delivery was really quick. Ordered them, got them in the space of about 4 days or so. You'll see that the foliage is really nice on here, got some really deep purple foliage to begin with, and you'll see as these grow they get to a really nice deep green sort of colour there as well, and you can see that from both of these plants here. We've got the ones which were in the 4.5 litre pots, so these ones should grow out quite nicely. Now, typically speaking, when you put these down, these roses do tend to mature to about 1 metre in width, so it is a traditional shrub rose bush. And they typically go to about 1 to 1.5 meters in height as well, depending obviously on how they habitat in their environment. So obviously things to do with your soil, your drainage, and how much food you're giving them over that period of time as well. But today what we'll be showing you is how we're going to prep the areas they're going to be going into, and eventually how we're going to get them planted down as well. So just a quick show. We're going to be getting them planted to the left hand side of our garden today into this particular area. Now this is going to be a bed which we're going to be soon having an apple tree going down there, and then we're going to reserve this spot over here for our 2 rose bushes. So today what we'll be doing is prepping this area. Now what we're going to be doing, generally speaking, it has been raining a fair bit, so I would have actually given this a bit of a mow, but since we're a bit short on time today, what we're going to do is just cut from there, short sort of rectangular space just down here, probably about 2 to 2.5 meters in width, and get rid of that and prep the soil first in order for us to get those roses put down. So let me just show you the tools I'm going to be using today. Okay, so pretty general type of tools what I'm going to be using today. Left hand side you see your traditional border edger. I tend to use this because it gives you quite a nice sharp edge to your square. Spade and a fork as well. Fork we'll be using just to kind of rake up the soil once we break it up, and just to give it that bit of mixture inside of there, and that's what we'll be putting once we start putting some of our feed in there as well. We'll use that just to break up the soil a little bit here. But first things first, we'll get our edger, and this is what I'm going to be using here just to actually make the edges on the square first. So really easy, put it down, foot down, and push down. Okay, so I'm just going to get started on that, and I'll show you guys the result once that's put through. Okay, so a quick tip, just before you start digging, it's always a good idea to put them down and get an idea of where you want to put your roses down so you can make a space adequate to that. So we're going to start off just where we have there, come out about 10 to 15 inches, go all the way across and back again there as well. Okay, so this gives us a good guide, and then we're just going to start off the edging first with the edging tool. That gives us a nice edge to there, and then we can start digging through there. Okay, so just to show you guys, that's the rough border what we made around the edge there. Really super easy, and actually I was quite lucky because it rained overnight, made the ground pretty soft. So again, just to give you a quick show, push down, get the soil out, and you've got a pretty good defined edge there which you can start taking through. Okay, so next step is, now that we've got our defined border edge on side of there, we're going to take the plants away, and then we're just going to start digging up and lifting this grass patch from here. Okay, so almost done on the hole now. Just the last few bits I've done around the back. If you've done this right, you should be able just to lift up the final few pieces of your border. Get it out, so you get a nice tidy edge coming away. You got to be careful that you make sure you're getting the grass from the roots, because if you leave the roots in there, you're going to get weeds and root systems which compete with your roses. And you'll notice I put everything on the side there. You can always use that if you want to patch up other areas of your garden or your lawn. So we have a nice square there. Now what we're going to do is obviously remove some more of these grass roots to make sure we've got a nice clean bed, and then we can start the next phase of the prep. Okay, so now that we've managed to move out most of the dirt here, just a quick note, make sure you also get rid of any unwanted stones. You do tend to find that, and obviously that's going to inhibit any sort of growth here, so any sort of big clumps like that, you want to make sure you get rid of that so it's not interfering. So next step, what we're going to do is just prep that soil slightly now. A couple of basic tools. This is where your garden fork comes into it, and even your spade. You've just got to sort of blend it, mix about the soil, so you're loosening it all up. So when you are ready to start digging your hole and putting your roses inside of here, you allow the root system to adequately spread through. So next phase, we're just going to mix this all up. So there you have it, nicely prepped, edged out, and you'll notice that what we did is we reused some of the grass that we dug up into other areas there, but we've aerated the soil there, removed most of the stones, and that's now ready and prepped to get your roses put into the ground. So that's the next step now. We're going to get our roses into the ground. Okay, so now that we've got our space ready, let's just position our roses where we want them to be inside of here. Oops, let's get one there, and we'll get the other one here. It's always best to do your positioning just before you plant to ensure that you know where they're going to look best. And that looks about right. So next job, let's get planting. Okay, so we dug the hole that deep now. Next step is just to see whether it's good enough and deep enough for the plant. So we're just going to put that in there, and that's about perfect. So we're just going to top that up with a bit of feed and soil at the bottom, tip the plant out and get that planted into the hole. And there you have it. You'll see that we've now planted those roses into the holes there. We've top filled it, and we backfilled it, I should say, with some compost on the side there. Put some feed in as well around the roots. Important thing is to get it right by the root ball, the soil level, so you can see just down there, just there, how we planted it in. And then again, it's important to backfill it with the compost that you got back out and give it good watering there as well. So there you have it. We've given it enough, sufficient space in between both. And now, let the roses grow.